we're already at 150. So let's go ahead and hit the final segment. An hour 50, not 150. So this final segment here, he goes into some of the impact that the events of January 6th in America had on his life and the way that he does ministry and community. So let's go ahead and watch that. We shared a stage at the Micro Church Conference. I guess that was last year or earlier this year. I don't even know. Time flies.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
you shared a powerful, impactful message. But you talked about a specific day that shifted things for you, January 6th, 2021. Can you talk about like the impact of that day on maybe even the work of this book and maybe even the development of the Prodigal Network, or if that was already in the brewing? So
yeah, we were Eric and Matt and myself, we were right in the middle of editing our first draft of the manuscript when the January 6th, people call it the insurrection, Capitol riots, when that happened, and our text thread between the three of us just blew up. And I remember sitting in my office trying to write, but then just I've got CNN on, and I'm like, what am I looking at? What are we watching? Is this real? Like I'm thinking, okay, we're not in the 18th century, American Revolution, Civil War.
right.
Like we're in 2021, and I just remember texting back and forth between Eric and Matt. And then all of a sudden you see, the flags of Jesus Saves going across the screen, and people are in the Capitol Rotunda, praying in the name of Jesus to overturn the election. And I'm just so confused. And then there is a couple of other Twitter or social media videos that came out, and you see all these people lined up outside praying, some speaking in tongues, some worshiping like full on. Just a couple of days before, there was I think it was called the Jericho March or something like that. And I was so confused, man. I was really confused because I thought in my mind I was able to sort between what is Christian nationalism and what is evangelicalism and American Christianity. And I thought in my head that, like, for the most part, those, I can spot.
You could see the difference. Yeah.
Yeah, I could spot the difference. But then when I was watching this, I was like, no, like, this is the same stream, because these would have been people that probably I would have went to the same worship concerts. So that was confusing for me. And then there was social media just makes things worse because you see people, from all sides. And so it was a very confusing time. And I thought that's when I began asking myself, I'm like, what are we a part of? Like, like, I know I'm a Christian. I know I follow Jesus. I know I believe the Bible, but what is all this other extra stuff, And, I would say in retrospect, that was healthy questioning. But in the midst of that, I do think that if there was ever a time where I was like, man, I think I might be like leaving American Christianity or evangelicalism or whatever, like that would have been it. And I've got so many good friends, and we're having this discussion, and they feel the same way. And I'm just like, okay, I got to remember, like, this thing is broad. And as we continue to work on the book and to connect it to the Prodigal Network, I had to really ask myself, like, what is my local community? Like, who are we? Because that local narrative of who we are and what we're called to do and what we're trying to do in our little small sphere of influence, in my mind, should be much larger than this craziness that we were watching on TV.
Yeah.
And we had a series of conversations in our church plant, the Prodigal Network, to try to bring some focus to what does it mean for us to be, a kingdom rooted people that are, in a sense, in exile, and that we are for our nation and we are for our city, but we're not going to be confined to those identities, because our identity, first and foremost, is to Jesus and the kingdom.
All right, we're going to go ahead and cut that segment short there. You guys can check out the full dynamic interview. He actually has some really good stuff. He's one of the smartest minds in the church that I know.
Yeah.
You can check that out. We'll have a link in the description to the actual video itself, but the link to the YouTube account that it's at is in the description right now. So you can go ahead and find that and subscribe. But that last bit there is he's talking about the unfortunate convergence between the wild right and the evangelical church. And
Yeah.
I don't know, that was an interesting element as he's saying that how that impacted the writing of this book. Was there anything in that segment there that you especially were like, oh man, we should talk about that real quick?
No, I just agreed, like how it's now there's this entanglement, like a lawn really, and you had these weeds growing up, and I think like nobody was really paying attention to the weeds, and now the yard is mostly weeds.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's like, how can you discern the difference?
Yeah, we need the gardener, the Lord.
Come on.
Yeah, because it's just
And he literally uses that weeds metaphor too.
Yeah, because it's so murky right now, and it's sad. It's sad.
Yeah. Well, I hope that this episode for you guys today hasn't felt murky. I hope you've enjoyed it. I hope there's been a lot of quality stuff that you've been able to take from there. If you're someone who's watching this on our Facebook page right now, you can find the entirety of the episodes, like every episode that we've done, over at furyandfriends.com. That takes you directly to our YouTube channel. If you're on YouTube, just look below. You will find all of those there as well. There's so many great things that we still have to come in the next couple episodes. I'm excited about. We got an interview with Carmen Powers for our next episode as we talk about prayer and intimacy with the Lord. And then an interview that I've been trying to make happen, and it's failed a couple times, with an artist who now I'm excited that it got pushed back because she's got an announcement about a project that she's finally able to release. So we'll have maybe a little bit of an exclusive with that interview. So that'll be our final episode. I'm still not going to tell you who it is. I don't think I've told everybody yet. So I'm gonna keep that on the low for right now. There you go. Tammy was vibing with you with the she said, and the terrorists. I love Tammy.
The queen of the one-liners.
she's good, man. She's good. Oh gosh. But like I said before, you guys, if you are somebody who wants to win the copy of this book, it's a great book. Go ahead and email me at armand@unshacklednetwork.org and let me know why you think you are the one who deserves it. And I think it'll be a great one for anybody, honestly, but especially somebody who's maybe wrestling with that murkiness in the church and who's in and who's out, and how we can be more part of blessing the kingdom. And I think if you guys want to know more about Daniel, there's so much more to his story that we didn't really get into. You can find them at theprodigal.net. He leads, one of the things that he leads is called the Prodigal Network. It's a network of microchurches similar to the Unshackled Network, also in the Chicagoland area. And he's doing great work there, primarily amongst, I think, the Asian population there, but any and all those who are seeking to know the Lord in a more intimate way, I think would be blessed by being a part of them. So you can check them out at theprodigal.net.